Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine18. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. Welcome or welcome back. In this video, I have a very special, to me anyway, unboxing. I have, for the first time, created a deck for my own personal use. I've had it produced on Make Playing Cards and it has arrived today. So I'm going to be taking it out of the plastic wrap that it came in and seeing how it turned out for the first time. So I thought that I would share it with you all. A little bit of backstory about this deck. I have been learning Ogam for some time, and so this is a Ogam deck. It is based on a set of kind of flashcards I learned with that I made myself just on some recipe cards. I had written each Ogam and its name on the front there, and then written some meanings on the back. And these are based on my learning from quite a few different sources. And so this was a study tool that I had created for myself. I then ended up taking Kelly Fitzgerald at the Truth in Stories Oracle class in January. And part of that Oracle class was oriented around making your own Oracle deck. And so we learned skills around some basic photo editing, actually uploading to Make Playing Cards or similar sites like that, and various other ways and different medium that you could use to make an Oracle deck. And many of us in the class have been making our own decks through our learning, and they've been coming to life in various kinds of ways, which has been really exciting. And so for the purpose of trying out the skills that I picked up in that class, I decided to take these, very basic learning cards and make a functional Oracle deck out of them. So they've arrived. It's a little 20 card Oracle with the 20 Ogam. I did not include the 4 feda. And I got them done in tarot size. And I'm really excited. I'm going to rip off the plastic. And so I don't know how well they've turned out. This is my first attempt. I did my best with some new software and things that I'd never used before, so they may turn out not great, but I'm really excited to see them nonetheless. So I will unwrap them and share them with you. I've of course seen the first card and also the backs, since in the plastic wrap you can see that. So this is the back of the card. Ogam, of course, has tree associations, so I chose this leaf as the back. And this deck is entirely comprised of public domain photos. So these are photos that I found on Pixabay predominantly, but they're all public domain. These are not photos that I've taken myself. I do one day aspire to making Oracle decks, probably just for my personal use again, with my own photography. But for the time being, wanting to create a deck kind of within the time or just right around the time of the Oracle class, I went with the public domain photos. And I edited them to include some keywords, the Ogam itself, its name, the tree or plant that it's associated with. So I've seen the first card and it looks pretty good, I think. So this first one is Baith, or the birch. And so you can see for each card here I have the Ogam there at the top, the name, the tree or plant, an image of that, and then some keywords on the bottom. So there for birch you can see my keywords of beginning, purification, emergence, and self-discipline. And again, these are keywords that I've kind of I don't want to say come up with like they're completely original or something, but that I have landed on as keywords for each Ogam that work for me, based on having read several books and engaged with different sources and seeing what kind of keeps turning up in the different sources. So this is really exciting. So Baith is the birch. Lush or rowan. With the keywords of flame and herb. These are translations of lush. Can be flame or herb. Not all of them translate to the name of a plant. And then inspiration, magical protection, and shielding. And so of course this is rowan depicted there. Fern, which is the alder, which is a protective one. This is really cool to see these in person, and I was a little bit unsure of whether the resolution would look okay with the editing, but I feel pretty good about it so far. This one has turned out a little bit dark compared to what I would have liked. Sal is the willow, which has to do with intuition and all the watery things, ancestors, the moon. So that one, if I reprint, I think that one might need a little bit of lightening up, but it doesn't look too bad. It has a kind of mystery to it with that there. I really like how these backs have turned out. I think that looks really good, in my opinion. We have Nan, ash, which has to do with context. And so I chose, when I was finding a lot of images of the same plant or tree, I would try to pick one that reminded me of the meanings that I associated with it. So this image of the ash tree for Nin, which translates to branch or fork, I chose a photo that had a kind of fork in the branches there. Some of them there were a lot more photos than others to pick from. Huath, which is hawthorn. Yeah, I'm really happy. This actually is like, this feels, I will use this. I'm really excited. It was kind of the guinea pig printing because I hadn't tried this before, but I'm really happy. There, the oak, having to do with strength and craft, skill. I wanted one with a lot of trunk for Dar. Chinna or holly. I really like how that one looks. I'm so excited. They look pretty good for a first deck ever, I would say. Call or hazel. The hazel of wisdom. Quert, the apple. Oh, that one looks good too. Muin, which is the vine. It has to do with communication. You think about the ways that certain beverages made from grapes can make one more talkative, right? It has to do with this ogham. Gort is the ivy, which has to do with a kind of sanctuary or a safer space, but the ivy also has some connotations of restriction as well. So I wanted to pick one that was on a wall for this. Nettle, which is broom. Broom was one of the challenging ones to make sure that I got a good photo for. Some of them I was really hesitant. I wanted to make absolute sure that the photos that I was getting were in fact the plant that it said it was, which was not quite as easy as it sounds. Obviously on Pixabay, people can post their photos and they just label them, and I think that some of them were not necessarily entirely accurate, and this was one of the ones that really, there were some very different photos that were apparently depicting broom, but with the research, this is where I landed. And I think that that looks really good. This is so exciting. Strafe, the blackthorn. I of course chose an image with the thorn being prominent, given the importance of the thorn to the meaning. And I don't know if you can tell, this is a tip I learned from Kelly, that I've made these black banners here a little bit transparent. They're semi-transparent, so the image comes through behind just a little bit. I think I would actually do that a little bit more on the next printing. If I print another one, I think I will make those black bands a little bit more transparent. I was worried about the text not standing out enough on some of the cards, but it does, which is great. Ruche, the elder, for the passion and strong emotion and of Ruche. I wanted the berries for sure to be what was depicted on this card. This is the only card that I have an animal depicted as well. Ogham, the fur, which is one of my favorite. Ogham and Edad are two of my favorites. But you can see here, and this is the fir tree, there's a little bird. I mean, the bird itself is probably not that little, but it is little on the picture on the card. There's a bird right up there at the top. Since this fid has to do with the high vantage point and seeing long distances and kind of long-term vision and gaining perspective, I thought that finding that image with the bird at the very top there, I thought that that was really cool and a kind of lucky find. On is gorse. And this one, I wanted to make sure that it looked, kind of low to the ground and had the sky in the background, since it has to do with foundation and, gaining traction. I thought that would be a good depiction. So this has really helped my ogham learning to make these. which is Heather. Another favorite, turned it a little bit darker than intended, but I still love it. The aspen. This is, the quaking aspen as indicative of a message in the presence of spirit. So I liked that this image, they do look a little bit like they're in motion there. It's one of my favorite ogham. And finally, the very last one is Ida, the U. And I wanted to have a really old looking yew tree for this one, and I think that this big one is that. So that's my deck. I'm very excited and very pleased. I really wasn't sure. I've never done anything like this. I didn't really edit the colors much at all. I kind of used the photos just as they were for the most part. I think I lightened maybe one or two, but I'm quite proud of myself. It feels like quite a big step to come to this as a final product when I started with this. So I'm really excited. I wanted to make these for myself because I haven't seen any ogham decks that have keywords on them, and certainly not that have keywords on them that are anything like reflexive of how I've learned this system. I do have one ogham deck, the Celtic Tree Oracle, by the Murrays, I believe, but it doesn't have any meanings on it at all. It just has the ogham itself, a tree image, and the name of the ogham is written on it. And so, as still, very much learning, I, had made this as a tool for myself, and I'm very happy with how it's come out. I'm really excited. So, I wanted to share this with you. Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you to Kelly Fitzgerald and to all the folks in the Oracle class. I've really enjoyed seeing everybody's creations come to life, and I'm very appreciative of all of the support and suggestions and the mutual encouragement that our Oracle learning group built up over the course of the class. That was definitely vital to getting this project finished. So really happy and really excited. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. I wish you a good day.